Hello and welcome. I literally have zero makeup on today. No eyebrows, no mascara. I didn't even think about it until I just hit live. I was like, shit, I think I should have done at least my eyebrows today. Oh well. Here we are. Here we are, and welcome to day 29 of 365 days of Facebook Live. I am so enjoying this thing, this challenge. It feels so good. It feels so good to get myself out of my own way by doing something consistently. By doing something consistently that really stretches my edges, that really makes me, whatever you want to call it, seek for my own validation versus how many views are there, and to just evolve myself and the type of woman that I want to be and how I hold myself and carry myself live. Because it's so different doing a Facebook Live than when I do a transmission in my paid courses and programs and with my clients. It's just like this different energy, and it almost feels more intimidating sometimes to do this live versus in the courses, which is weird because people are paying me. They're investing in they're really investing in the program, and they're counting on me to deliver something. There's a lot less on that than this. So either way, I'm really grateful that I decided to do something like this, which this is one of the reasons why I created the Dripping Pleasure Challenge, because if I'm challenging you for 2 weeks in a row, 2 weeks in a row, to stretch your edges, to do something every day that is in alignment with what you desire, which is to have a better relationship to your husband, partner, to have a better relationship to sex, to have a better relationship with your sacred sexuality and your woman and your embodiment as a feminine being, every day there's gonna be a shift in your reality when it comes to these three things that I'm talking about. And you will see how in one area, when you change and you stretch, you get out of your comfort zone, you take something that is suppressed and you start to unleash and liberate that energy, how it ripples into other areas of your life. And I know you know what I'm talking about, because we've all done this before, where we've stood up to somebody in, let's say, a family relationship, and somehow that changed your work dynamics and your relationship, or it changed your money situation, or it changed how you showed up with your fitness, right? This is just how it is. So I'm so excited for Dripping Pleasure. We start tomorrow. It is $100 right now, and it is going to be an epic 2-week mini program challenge. And for the women who are joining live, you get the bonus 2 weeks of coaching in Telegram, group coaching with me, which I'm so excited to help you. I want you to extract every single thing that you can out of these 2 weeks together, and really dive deep and have whatever questions are lingering in your mind about this, like, how do I do this, and why is it suppressed, and I want to with my partner, and I don't understand, I don't know how to handle his sexual energy, I don't even know what to do with mine, right? All of the things, or all of the specific nuanced things that are happening in your relationship, that it's like, okay, I hear you, all that, and this is what's happening in my relationship. I can go in there and start to work the kinks and the crannies and all the things that I know that you can start doing to start changing whatever is happening in your specific situation. That's what I love to do, which is why I added the bonus coaching, because I'm like, this is my jam. This is where it's like, I get so much out of it, and you get so much out of it too. So today we're going to talk about reason number 5 as to why you don't want to drop your panties for your husband, partner, and what we can do about it. What you can start doing about it now, so that you're having a different reality, a better reality with your partner, a better reality with sex, a better reality with pleasure and orgasm, and enjoying every single part of intimacy and everything that leads up to that. Because let's be honest, ladies, for us, it's so much more than just the moment. It is everything that leads up to us wanting sex, right? Because we are the giving back energy. We are the energy as the feminine embodied woman we give back. We don't give first. So when we feel we're not having ourselves filled and satiated with how our masculine man is showing up for us, we're like, sex can feel like a obligation. It can feel like a chore. It can feel like, well, you haven't really shown up for me, so I really don't want to spread my legs open. And then becomes a problem in the relationship. And then it's like, well, how do I get myself out of this funk? How do I get myself out of this situation with my partner? Because yes, I understand sex is important, Jessica, but I'm just like, I don't want to do it. Like, I just don't want to. I'm not inspired. I'm not aroused. My libido feels low, all the things, right? So I've created 5 separate lives, right? Today's the last one, where it really walks you through all of those. So you can absolutely go back to every single thing and binge watch all of it. It's probably about 10 to 20 minutes for each video. And we're going to go even deeper inside of all of that, inside of Dripping Pleasure, and really help you do the things. So today, reason number 5. You show up in a way that emasculates him, that puts him in a position of child employee, and you basically don't want to fuck him. You're not going to want to fuck your child / someone that you're managing all the time, right? You're showing up in that way. And this is one of the main reasons that I see good relationships become ordinary and not go into that upward spiral of extraordinary, right? This is where I see things are going good, right? You're starting off, everything's great. You're blah, 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 blah. You're in it. You're in the zone. You're in the honeymoon. And then it's like, whoop, we're going into the ordinary, normal, what society deems as normal after a long-term committed relationship, whether you're married or you're just in a partnership. It's normal for you not to want to have the sex just dies down. It's just the way it is. They go into a normal relationship, ordinary relationship, versus an extraordinary, thriving, wow, sex is really good. Wow, it's so satisfying. Wow, it's so good. Where the thrill, the romance, the emotional intimacy is all there, right? Extraordinary. And extraordinary includes your sex life, 100%, right? Sex is just the symptom of where it shows where your relationship is. And it shows you your direct relationship with sex too, right? This is why it's the last thing that usually shows. So then we get to this place of like, okay, well, they go, and it slowly is a trickle effect, right? It's a slow trickle effect as to the way that the relationship starts to like slowly become from this really good relationship, that how things had started, and over time, through how you're showing up, through how you're communicating with him, starts to slowly chip away at the relationship and at your sex life, right? And then you start to wonder, why do I not want to fuck my husband? Why don't I want to fuck my man? Why do I not feel the same way that I used to feel in the beginning, right? Where you were just, both of you were dying to get in the bedroom. And how we communicate with our partner is so important, because we are the frequency that emanates first. We are that call that he responds to. So what I am going to say is this. There's reasons behind why you are showing up like this. And this is why. the reason why women speak to their man in a way that's demanding, criticizing, emasculating, putting them in the position of child, employee, like you're babysitting him, right? Is that it's a wounded relationship to the masculine. It's a wounded relationship to the masculine, and this can happen for many different reasons. You could have been in a relationship where you were with a narcissist, toxic person, right? And you consciously or unconsciously made a vow or made a promise to yourself, or I will never be controlled again from a man. And then therefore you turn into a more forward energy, controlling, which looks like demanding, not like extensive, like let's say your previous partners, but it's a subtle controlling energy where it's like you're demanding, you're criticizing, you're making sure you're putting him in a position, right? Where it's like you feel like there's like a little bit more of power, right? The dynamic. So you want to have that little bit of a higher power because of the pain that you experienced before. Or it could be just what you saw growing up in your household, what you saw between the dynamics between your parents, and you thought, oh, well, this is what a relationship is like. This is how you show up in a relationship, because these are the first imprints that you receive about masculine and feminine, and then how they are in union. So then you just take on and you repeat these patterns. Could be a lot of father wounds, right? Father wounds about how your father showed up and how he didn't execute on your desires and things like that. So therefore you felt that you have to execute them. You have to make them happen. You don't trust the masculine to do these, right? So our communication, our frequency emanates in this way. We show up in the relationships in this way. Or something happened in the relationship that really changed the trajectory of the relationship. It could be someone hurt somebody in whatever way it was, and from that pain, someone leaned back. In this case, we're going to say that the masculine leaned back, right? And then you became more forward energy, right? So the polarity in the relationship shifted, right? So the polarity shifted, and that passive energy, when somebody leans back, it makes the other person lean forward, right? Which is usually why the masculine is more the lean forward energy, the man is the more lean forward in the energy in the relationship, and the feminine is a more lean back energy, right? So when it switches, this is when we feel kind of that resentment towards our partner, where we feel like, why are they not doing anything? Why are they so passive? Because they're not meant to be the passive energy. We are meant to be more of that passive energy, that more flowy energy, not the one that's forward and executing and doing. They are. But when something has happened in a relationship, when there's a pain that has happened, a big wound for whatever reason, the man can become avoidant, and therefore it makes the woman more anxious, right? So then it becomes like that dynamic. So these are the reasons, and there could be other reasons for you and your personal experience in your relationship, why our communication and how we show up with our man creates this demanding, criticizing, emasculating way. And then here's the thing that I have learned from my work of feminine embodiment, my own experience in my relationship with my man. And it is that we have a tremendous responsibility of how we show up in the relationship. The frequency is the call that we are putting out for our men to respond to. Let me say that again. The frequency that we put out is the call that your man is responding to. So if our frequency is of a disappointed mother, the call that your man is responding to is like a teenage boy. When was the last time your man felt like of a disappointed from the mother energy when he was a child? So he's gonna respond like a teenage boy. He's gonna be in that energy and that frequency. if the frequency you are emanating is that you can't do anything right, let me fix that, let me jump in, let me just do it because I know you're not going to do it. Guess how your man is, what call is your man responding to? That of an incapable teenager. So he's going to consistently show up as an incapable teenager or a man child because of how our energy is emanating, our frequency. And when it comes to your relationship in the bedroom with him, is that gonna want to make you want to have sex with him? No, you're not gonna want to. So I will say that if there are some men that will actually push back to that energy, and usually that's more men who are very much in their very much masculine energy, and that usually ends up in relationships that are like blow up fights when there's too masculine energies, just like too much fire, boom, 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 boom. But in most cases with good men, this is what happens, right? This is what happens. So what needs to change? Your call needs to change, alchemize, elevate, evolve, whatever you want to put into it. But our frequency, if it is what the masculine, the call that the masculine responds to, then we have to have and own that responsibility of how we show up really fucking matters. And it can really drastically change the sexual polarity in your relationship, and it can drastically change how fast you want to drop your panties for your husband, partner. We want our men to be inspired to rise up into their king energy and be a man next to us. And I'm going to be honest, if we're acting in that kind of way, what seems like we're coming out like a princess or whatever energy that is, they're just matching our frequency. So if you don't want to have this babysitting, managering, mothering energy doing everything for him, then we got to stop doing that. We got to stop doing that so we feel turned on by him and we give him space to be the man that we know that he is capable of, right? No woman wants to fuck a teenage boy or someone that they're managing or someone that they're doing things over. We want to fuck a man. We want to feel a man next to us. We want a man to sweep us off our feet, to romance us, to dine us, to do all the things, to talk sweet things into our ears. We're like, oh my God, I just can't. Like, you're making me blush. You're making me like quiver in my, like, just by the stare that you're giving me and like the posture that he's showing up, right? That's what we want. That's who we're going to drop our panties for. That's the kind of man that we want to be in ecstasy with, that we want to be in the bedroom for hours with, right? Not the other way around. The other way, well, described before, is just it becomes a checklist. It becomes a chore. It becomes boring. It becomes like praying for an excuse, a legit reason to not have sex with him, right? Because of the obvious situation that I just described, right? And we can't surrender to that. We can't surrender to a man that's showing up to us like that, because that's not a man. We will surrender to a man. We will surrender to a king. We will be so open to want to be taken by him, right? And this starts with us first. Does your man have to do work too? Yes, absolutely, 110,000%. I'm not saying that there isn't other things that he has to do on his own, just as you do work on your own too. But our energy, our frequency is first. We are the emanation. We are the call that he responds to. And I'm telling you, when this changes, when your feminine embodiment changes, when the way you show up for your partner changes, you will see how he responds to you. You will see how you're like, holy shit, wow, like this is like a man that's starting to show up for me. Like the dynamics are starting to change. You're going to start seeing how it's no longer this like annoying way that he responds to you, but more of like, wow, it's a man. Now he's taking charge. Now he's leading. Now he's romancing. Now I feel the thrill. Like now I really want to like go to bed with him, combined with you working on your sexuality, your relationship with your sacred sexuality. And you put those things together, these two things together, the sexual polarity in your relationship, which is how you are communicating with him, how you're giving him the space to rise into his king and to do the processes that he needs to do to be the embodiment of that, and not get in the way, not get in the middle of it, right? Because we want to get in the middle of it. We're like, let me just do it. It's like, no. Communicating in a way that inspires him to want to be that for you. And working on your sacred sexuality, your sovereign sacred sexuality, you will be climbing in that bedroom in no time with him and feeling like ecstatic, orgasmic pleasure with him. With every thrust, every grind, every kiss, every sensation that you feel, you're like, oh my God, this is what Jessica's been talking about. This is what it's supposed to feel like with my man in the bedroom. It's even better than we first started dating, because we are just both such an evolved man and woman next to each other, coming together. And it feels so fucking good. So this is what I'm going to lead you through inside of Dripping Pleasure. It's a 2-week mini program challenge where every day I'm going to be giving you a transmission and giving you an actual thing to do, a practice or a challenge. Well, the practice will be the challenge, but there are going to be actual things for you to do with how you communicate with your partner. I'm going to guide you on how to talk to him in a way that inspires him and allows him to rise up into his king energy and like really be that sexy man that you want him to be, that you know that he can be. And I'm gonna have 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks, and in those 2 weeks, if you join live, you're going to get the live coaching within the 2 weeks if you join within that time frame. And I just drew a blank for a second. I'm getting cold. When I get cold, that happens. Yeah, that's it. I think that's all I have to say. I don't know why I have to over explain it. That's what we're going to be doing. I'm going to guide you to awaken your sexuality and want sex with them. Everything I talked about from today to these last 5 days is what I'm going to be guiding you through. You're going to see how your relationship with your body changes, your relationship with sex, with your sacred sexuality, and become more liberated as a woman, and how that just transfers and ignites arrows in your relationship and continues the circuitry between you and your partner of the life force energy when it comes to sex. So it's $100. We start tomorrow. And yeah, like I'm so excited. Like yesterday I was at the cafe with my man, and which I have to share this story. When you know how to speak with your man, right? He will do things for you that you will probably notice other men won't with their wives. And there's a reason for that, or their girlfriends or whatever. I speak to my man in a way, and I can be vulnerable with him and know how to tell him what I really desire. And when I come with that open heart vulnerability and I give him space, right, in other situations where it's more truth, but in these situations where it's really just desire, maybe things he needs to execute right away, he will show up. Because I've descended down into my feminine and he has come up. And this happened recently in the conversation. We went to a family gathering and Ron and I went to this cafe called Pura Vida, which is not a cheap cafe. It is very expensive. What you're paying for is the ambiance. You're paying for the ambiance. You're paying for the service. You're paying for how everything looks super cute, super aesthetically pleasing. That's what you're paying for. Ron was like, oh my gosh, like this is crazy. He's like, $28 for a wrap. He's like, I better hear you orgasming when you're eating that wrap. I better hear you like screaming my name. You're like, you know what I mean? And then later on that night, we were talking to my uncle, and he walked in with his wife, and they immediately walked out. Now, I don't know what her true desire is. Maybe she doesn't feel like she would actually want to pay for something like that either, or be in that kind of environment. Maybe. I don't know. But let's say she really does. Let's say she really does, but she didn't really communicate with him. This is what happened. They just walked away. But if she would have probably really communicated with him, I really want to experience this place, it would mean a lot to me. And you have a right to say no, but I would really love to. Oof. That would hit really differently. Or saying something like, you're so cheap. Why do you have to be like that? I really wanted to enjoy this really nice place. Or throughout the day, maybe not say anything, but be passive aggressive. Or be upset how he's constantly not fulfilling her desires. Out of those two scenarios, who do you think is going to want to have sex with her husband more and faster? And really enjoy it. That's what I'm talking about. So come join. If you have any questions, just message me. And if you want to learn more, dive deeper, ask me about the Sex Priestess Mastermind. Okay, that's about it. I'm gonna go make some dinner and get ready for tomorrow. Mwah. Love you.